Richard, Tori, Nick, I'm going to cram you guys into the final segment. But for one segment, we've got Andrew Neil, one of the directors and producers of C-Think that made the film New World Order. Now, I don't know how much I can say on air, but it's one of the hottest things. Well, I've been told the hottest thing they've ever had at IFC, and we've seen the numbers on that. Very exciting. I knew this would give us a lot of attention, and that's the key, breaking out, getting attention. People say, oh, well, you'll be discredited by this or that. You know, it's a subtle film. I mean, there are kooky people in the alternative media movement because we're not some centralized monolithic mainstream media. We're a billion different flavors. And if people think that, and I go back and forth on this, but overall it's the most positive film done by mainstream media. Overall it will be positive. Andrew and the guys were truthful with me. We said it's not a hit piece, but it's going to be objective. And now talking to them, and I remember, you know, they had folks that they could have made us look like complete lunatics because I know who's out there. I know what goes on. I mean, if they would have wanted to. And they didn't do that. And I know that they tried to make, you know, other people tried to make fair films on Discovery Channel and things, and it got shelved with other filmmakers. So I know how hard it is to get something as fair as what they did on. A little stereotypical, and from my opinion, you know, they did focus on a little bit of the cliches, but some of that's for comic relief. But we do have a lot of cliches in our movement. But at least we're in the arena, we're taking action, we're engaged. And I know some folks, you know, out there have trouble dealing with that. Some people got confused by what I was saying. I'm saying Bloomberg and the New York Times and Variety and all these publications, the LA Times did a halfway hit piece. But the others came out and implied there is no Bilderberg group, there was no fire alarm pulled by security, there weren't people following us, and there were people following us. Andrew Neil, one of the filmmakers who was in the van with us, can tell you that. And that one of his partners, Davis, was in there when the big cops were coming in saying, let's attack the State Department together. And he'd go, you know, my dad's a detective in Chicago. I know cops when I see him. That's an FBI guy. And I go, yes, I know. It's like telling me that's a duck swimming along in the pond right there. Yes, I know that. But the issue, I was leading the guy along, you know, talking to him. So I get mad at the distortions by the media off of this. And then at the same time, I don't want to blame these filmmakers. I think they've had a lot of courage, and I talked to them. They're getting attacked by the left. How dare you give all these kooks this attention? They're getting attacked by a lot of people right now, but they're also getting huge amounts of attention, and so they've arrived as filmmakers. They made a lot of other award-winning films, but this one is big. It's going big in the theaters. It's going to go big internationally. It's huge on IFC, so very exciting. And I want to bring up for the next 10 minutes, because he's on a shoot right now, working today in Massachusetts. I want to bring up Andrew Neil. Hey, buddy, good to have you on with us.
Hey, Alex, thanks for having me on. Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of what you were saying there was really salient to, like, just discussing this film right now. I mean, you know, of course, you know, as you know, probably better than just about anyone else, it's not, you know, it's not fun to get yammered at and yelled at and criticized and that sort of thing. But basically, the most important thing, in my opinion, as a filmmaker right now, is that this film is doing really well, and that, you know, this, in 1 month, of IFC VOD, it has broken all of their records for documentaries on IFC VOD, and that's 1 month. Okay, so that means many people are tuning in to watch this film. You know, and you know, it's not easy to get attacked sometimes. You know, we're getting it from we've got, you know, sometimes it feels like a rock and a hard place. You know, we've got the left saying, how dare, you know, you give these people a soapbox and let them say this kind of stuff. You know, I've got the right basically saying the same kind of shit. You know, sorry.
Andrew, family audience.
Oh, sorry, saying the same kind of stuff, and you know, it gets me pretty angry. You know, I'm just like, and because I don't, you know, we tried to make something objective here. You know, and basically what we feel like is we're getting pinched between everybody, and you know, that I think that's kind of gotten on our nerves. I mean, I even got Ron Paul supporters saying this is a hit piece because it connects Ron Paul to 9/11. I mean, there's so many different agendas out there.
Yeah, well, let's get this clear. America's very mentally ill right now, and there's always problems in society, but we're a very sick society. And just like Mexico or other countries that can't get it together, when I talk to people from Mexico, they say nobody wants anybody to do well. It's a culture of corruption. So anytime, I mean, if you were to find a gold nugget at the Grand Canyon, some old lady'd come up and say you were a child molester. You know, they don't like anybody having success, period. You ever gone crab fishing? You got 5 or 6 crabs in the bucket. They could team up and climb out together, but if any one tries to get out, the other crab comes over and grabs them. And the American system was always the opposite of that. Now we become like every other backwards, decadent, sickening. It's a nation of spectators that have no respect for themselves. And so they're going to hate anyone who's an achiever. But the good news is it's the record IFC film. The ratings have come in huge for last night, all-time record for the people that are watching it on demand. And it's huge. And, you know, they're going to want to do a big series with you guys now.
And basically, for all the stuff, you know.
You're a winner. Listen, they don't like the guy in pole position. So Andrew, you need to learn to enjoy it. Enjoy the jealousy. When somebody's jealous of me, I just get them on and go, you're right. You're so smart. I'm bad. You're the genius. And then everybody sees how arrogant they look. That's the secret. You know, you're doing it for the right reason. You tried to make a fair film. I think you went with a few cliches, but you could have gone even worse. So again, feel good about your big victory.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's the one thing that you brought up that I really agree with, Alex. You know, like, I'm not going to get into the list of the kind of stuff that we ran into when we were making this film. I mean, you know, just you
told me some of the footage you've got. It's absolutely. And see, the people are so arrogant; they don't know what making fun of the patriot movement behind their backs looks like. They don't know what arrogance looks like on film. They don't know what a favor you did them not showing it.
Yeah, and I have a few people, you know, that we film with that just blatantly are talking about the amount of time that we spent with them and stuff like that, and that's just it's unprofessional, childish. You know, the fact of the matter is when you shoot with people who have big egos, you know, and God complex, you know, sometimes they act like babies when they don't get put in the piece, you know, and you know, and that's just kind of slimy and low behavior, and. You know, I just think it's unprofessional and kind of silly.
Well,
you know,
listen,
so
Andrew, the issue is everybody's great, everybody's friends. We just need to realize that we're almost having nuclear war right now with North Korea. They've declared war. They've gotten rid of the armistice. So the state of war after 56 years is back in place. Israel's talking about hitting Iran. Iran has sent battleships out to confront the U.S. fleet hundreds of miles away from their waters. That's Reuters. NATO is encircling Russia. Russia's threatening back. Russia's saying they're worried about nuclear war. China's on high alert. Japan's threatening to attack people. And the decadent American public and Europeans are just descending into total lunacy, with one group denying there's a new world order and other people running around crazy. And you said you had groups and people you didn't put in the film who said that I was mind controlling people with chips in their heads.
No. I've got people saying that you are controlling my mind with a mind control machine. Okay, and they're saying that this is a propaganda. This is from the other side, right? The other side is
so it's like hold on. I'm Count Dracula, and like I'm saying, come here, Von Helsing, come here, and it's and you're like, oh, you are strong-willed for one that has only lived one life.
I was talking to your producer.
My color, hey, blah blah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was talking to your producer before we got on the show, and actually, you know, and I'm a little worked up about everything. It's just been, too many days, man, of too many opinions. But what he pointed out, and I think he's basically right, you know, is if you make something that gets people this riled up, then you've made something interesting. And in the end, you know, that is what Luke and I were trying to do, was trying to make something interesting, something objective, you know, and you're allowed to have your qualms with it about the cliches, and people are allowed to criticize. And that's the other thing I want to say. You know, people are allowed to say they hate it. You know, that's freedom of speech. You're allowed to say that.
But Andrews, let me stop you. I want to be clear, and I'm going to let you make your points. I have complex emotions about it. I understand it's like cliches, but because those really are our cliches, I know you were being kind with the stuff you didn't put in it. Now that you've told me what you've got, my God, is it unbelievable? So in a way, I understand. But see, this is the deal. We're not cloistered, monolithic mainstream media. So of course, if you wanted to go out and pick a bunch of buffoons to represent us, you could have done that. And I don't think you did that to a great extent. You did it to somewhat of, an extent. So I'm not blaming you. The issue is we're on the verge of World War III. So